I think it's a passion. So it's something, you know, like we were saying yesterday, you know, it's like, this is my life's purpose. It's to educate people about edible, medicinal, useful properties of wild plants on their doorstep, and doing it in a very creative way, and always having the magic woven between the stories. Hi, my name's Jules and I'm from Spirit of the Hedgerider. I'm a professional forager and basket weaver. So this is one of our most favourite trees. This is, or what you call a hedgerow tree. This is Hawthorne, and she's what we call a plant of love, a tree of love. She has these incredible little fruits on them, but they actually, when they're actually fully ripe, they're bright red. And it shows us, there's a bit of a clue there, so anything to do with the heart, bright red. So this plant, when she first comes out, or when the shrub first comes out in spring, we can eat these lovely young leaves, and we can also eat the flowers. And together they're called bread and cheese. It's a name that the country folk used to give them. But again, really kind of like focusing on her medicine, which is, like I say, heart medicine. So some people actually say that if you're actually on heart medication, you shouldn't actually take Hawthorne, because you can actually end up overdosing yourself with the actual medicine of the Hawthorne. So we can also make her into safe medicine. So she's what we call a medicine and a food. We can make her into these, we can dry them and use them in teas, but we can also make them into things like Hawthorne sauce or ketchup. And some people coin it hoising or horsing, which is quite fun. But it's very, very easy to make. She's full of pectin, so when you're actually making her, she actually, into a chutney or into a sauce, she actually thickens up very quickly. And when she's ripe, the inside is actually yellow and not green. So she's still ripening at the moment. And although we're in August and you tend to think she should be still in her green stage, she's actually ahead of her time. Also, what we have in the hedgerow as well, growing around, are the vines. We've got these amazing blackberry vines, and we've got nettles. The blackberries tend to use the hedgerows as somewhere to clamber up. So you'll often have a nice marriage between brambles, blackberries, and the hedgerow fruit. And into kind of like, when we look up higher as well, we've got some cherry in there. And we've also got some blackthorn higher up, which we can go and have a look at. So when we came here in 2010, we always wanted to have a Welsh fruit orchard. So these are called Ynys Mon, which is actually pig snout. You can see actually the kind of snout kind of shape on the apple. And some of these apples weigh up to 500 grams each, so half a kilo. They get that big. But they're really, really useful in my fruit leathers. They're quite sweet, although they are a cooking apple. They're really, really sweet in things like fruit leather. And the longer they kind of ripen, the sweeter they get. But they are a perfect cooking apple. They're very fluffy on the inside. And like I say, really nice. You can actually just eat them as a dessert apple as well. But yeah, great for fruit leathers. And they also attract an abundance of migratory birds in winter, as we let quite a lot of them fall to the ground, and then all of the migratory birds, such as lovely fieldfares, come in and eat them. So we're providing foods for all kinds of animals as well. We've seen foxes out here and rabbits nibble on them as well. So we've probably got about 10 of these trees planted all over the land. We've also got trees like Bardsey Island through there as well, which is also another Welsh native. And I think this one is actually called a baker's dozen or something like that. That's just a small fruit tree. We've got pears as well, and we've also got some unusual things like Cornelian Cherry, and if you look down there you'll be able to see the bright red berries starting to turn in the middle there. Those are called Cornelian cherries, and they come from the family of the dogwood. She's starting to ripen up. She's a member of the dogwood family, as I said before. But the nice thing about the Cornelian cherry is that you can actually use her in place of things like cranberries. So instead of buying cranberries, which normally come from the Americas, I think you can grow them in this country, but we can turn these into cranberry sauce, and they freeze very well as well. They're really tasty, but if you don't get them quickly enough, then the blackbirds come in and eat them all. So yeah, yeah, it's quite tart at this moment in time, but it's still really what I consider as edible. It's really tasty. Some of the trees that we've put in, although we've got Welsh native, mainly Welsh native trees, some of the trees that I've been given are some of these incredible evergreens. This is Great Western Cedar, and she's considered a very, very medicinal tree. So the Native Americans would have used this for things like soothing patients with cancer. So when they're in like late stage of cancer, terminal cancer, so you can actually put some of these in your bath, and it imparts this incredible medicine, and the smell is very, very uplifting. You can also make some wonderful smudge sticks from these. So smudge sticks, again, very Native American. You pick them when they're fresh, and then you bundle them together and with twine, and then once they're dried you can smoke. So again, you've got that very healing smoke going into your environment. You can also make foot baths with the leaves as well, and that also heals things like fungal things that we get in our feet, such as athlete's foot and fungal nail infection. So it's a really, really powerful tree, and we don't tend to cut her unless we are trimming in winter, because obviously they grow over the pathways. But yeah, it's a great winter workshop to work with these plants. Love it. Great Western Cedar, beautiful. So this is what we call the Blackthorn Pass, and all that we've done is we've just allowed the hedgerows to grow outwards with these blackthorn suckers, and we've just mowed up through the middle. Now come spring, it's like you're showered in a confetti of white fluffy little flowers, and they look amazing. Now with, again, any kind of like hedgerow trees such as Blackthorn and Hawthorne, they have very, very strong wood, and we can identify these trees by the colour of the wood, hence the name Blackthorn. So all of the Blackthorn is edible. You just have to be really, really careful, because she does have incredibly sharp thorns, and if we get them into our skin, it can cause sepsis. But one of the lovely things about this tree as well is she's known as a plant or a bush or a shrub of adversity. So because she's got quite what we call dark energy, she's able to help us with overcoming adversity. So it could be if we're having boundary problems. Often the problem lies with us. It's about the way that we see people. But this is such an amazing tree to work with. So you can make slow gin from her, and you can use that to kind of like sip on when you're feeling a little bit down about, you know, boundary problems and things like that, or if you're feeling adversity. Also, this wood would have been used historically to make wands by witches, because the wood is incredibly, incredibly hard. And also the thorns were collected as well and used in magic. They were actually used to kind of like stud apples and things, which was a little bit scary. But, you know, that's what our lovely wise women would have done. So this is just a little part of the woodland. It's about 300 trees here. It's completely different from the main part of the woodland that we've planted up. So we've got lots of things like silver birch, and we've got sweet chestnuts. We've got a little bit of ash left. A lot of them died to the Chulara dieback. And we've also got alder in here and crabapple, and some, because we're on the edge of autumn, we have some lovely fungus coming up as well here. So be careful you don't tread on her walking past. I'm not quite sure what that is. But yeah, it's very, very pretty. We're really on the edge of autumn. We should get a lovely yield of acorns. This is a sessile oak, which is native to this area, and I don't know if you can see, but we've definitely got some oaks forming here, and we can make wonderful things with acorns once we've leached out their tannins in water. So lots of changes of water until they actually have a taste a little bit like sweet chestnuts, and then we can make some nut roasts with them, and we can make an amazing acorn coffee with them too. So you can, once you've leached out the tannins, we're then drying them and then we're roasting them in the oven, and they make a superb coffee. Also the bark as well, it's because it's full of tannins, it's really good for our teeth, so we can make a tooth powder with them to keep our gums and our teeth nice and healthy. And just the leaves, I mean, they're gorgeous, aren't they? The leaves are so pretty. We can make prints with the leaves. And the wood, obviously very superior. The wood is amazing. We don't tend to coppice these, but when we do get the branches that naturally dry off because of you can't get the light down to the lower part of the tree because the canopy is quite dense, but we can use the branches, we'll probably be able to find one in a minute, for our fires. So there's a way of testing, and it's great for children, to teach children to go out and collect firewood. So as you can see down here, there's no leaves on it, and when you just naturally push down, maybe not on this one, but you can see they just naturally snap off. These are perfectly seasoned pieces of wood that we can use to light our fires with, or our storm kettles. Yeah, just by literally pressing down on the ones that don't have any. You can see this is quite very, very dry. We can then have a lovely bundle of wood to take into our houses to light our log burners, or I like to bundle up some of the branches that I find that are perfectly seasoned and